January 7, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E Futures Mini on 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. I'll turn off my lines. Looks like it was two legs up, then two legs down, a bounce, pullback, kind of a consolidation area here, two legs up, and then it looks like it's one leg down, pullback. Maybe there's two tiny legs in here and all the way pushed back down. And this is how I drew up the chart. Now, out of all this, I took one trade and it ended up being right here. It was a winner, but I think I lucked out. Fortunately, I was going for just one point, as well as I got in a little bit better entry. But there aren't very many other setups that I'm going to talk about. There's probably only this other one. But overall, the price action today was, I would say it's kind of like slow, but a little tricky. There's a lot of things that kind of look like it might set up, but it never did. And then there was only two pieces of economic data that came out, one at 5:15, we're at about here, which is the ADP Non-Farm Employment Change, as well as the ISM Services PMI, which came out at around 7. It kind of caused a small drop. Other than that, there was no other economic data that came out. And I'm going to go through this area specifically that it looked like it was two legs down, but I ended up drawing it as a bigger leg and used it as a justification for taking a trade. And I'm very fortunate my trade worked out because it probably would not have. So I'm going to go into the setups right now, or the very few setups. In the pre-market, prices are moving sideways. It sells off, moves back up, almost looks like it's two legs. Break of the green up channel, test the high. Now we're in the regular trading hours. Localized highs, a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long, you could argue for potentially a triple test, but I don't like that it's a doji bar. And these are technically all inside this big red one here. So I'm not a big fan of this. Looking for a higher low. You get a higher low here, but by the time you get this higher low, I had established that there might be a potential trading range, if not at least a resistance area here. So I didn't want to enter a trade pushing into resistance. And I initially thought it was going to push up on this green up channel, but I widened it to this orange up channel. So it looks like it's actually two legs. And pushes back. So it's a localized high, also high of day. The first entry long, pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long, and then a second entry long has failed right here, but it feels a little early because prices are just kind of moving sideways, is what you see in real time. And then as prices move, you get this lower high. Unfortunately, by the time it pushes and engulfs this guy and it pushes through to here, it felt too late to try to enter this trade because it pushes down. And now it's kind of in no man's land. It felt like the trade or the scalp I was looking for has already been made. Starts pushing down. At this point, I really don't have a clean, decisive channel yet. I had something playing like this, and I thought this was an overshoot. Looks like a first entry short pullback. It gives you a confirmed second entry short, but when you see this in real time, this signal bar isn't giving me a lot of confidence to try to go short yet. Pushes down. It breaks out a second time. And so now I'm watching this yellow down channel. I actually extended it out this way, and it has, see if I can get it. There you go. Decent confirmations on the high side. One touch, two touch, three touch. Also looks like it was one leg pullback. Starting a second leg down. It's moving down this orange down channel. Break, makes one attempt down. And here, this is actually where I take my one and only trade. And I do follow a lot of other traders throughout the day, and it looked like a few people got caught on this, and myself included, probably would have gotten caught if I was more ambitious today, going for more than just 1 point. But lately, the market, especially started my trading this year, starting on Monday. The price action has been kind of choppy and not the greatest, little deceiving. So I'm glad I'm sticking with just a quick 1 point scalp. So I'm going to go into the setup. It looks like it's pushing down this yellow down channel, which I'm thinking is in play because it has, arguably kind of a weak touch here, another weak touch, maybe a touch here. But on the high side, at least on the resistance side of this yellow down channel, it looks more firm. And it looks like it's a break of this orange down channel. It's one attempt down, potential second attempt. Now, you could do a count reset here, but I counted it as a first entry short pullback, second entry short. When I saw this, I saw a rejection off the yellow down channel, and it never broke above the EMA. I really like this trade. So I actually entered right here. Now, typically I enter at the lows, but I did enter a little bit higher because I think it was actually dumb luck because I would have dropped it here, but I think my mouse stuttered a little bit. So I actually got one tick benefit. So I actually entered one tick higher. Now I was pushing and I'm watching this carefully. At this point, I was pretty sure I was going to get stopped out because my stop is one tick above this guy. And I was going for a 1 point scalp, and it unfortunately didn't achieve it here. But I also thought this is a potential second entry short because it looks like if you did a count reset, it'd be a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Now, if I didn't enter on this setup, I would have entered on this one. So actually, I didn't, but I would have entered on this setup because it looks like it's pressing down. And if you did the count like I did, first entry short, second entry short, this could be considered a lower high, even though it's making a matching high. Pushes down. So I got my scalp, which is 1 point right here. Wasn't going to try to push for anything more. But I think in a different context, if the history of the week had been a little bit more favorable, I probably would have been more confident that this trade would have worked. But as I said, lately, I just kind of felt like the market has been kind of a little bit deceiving. So I just went for a 1 point scalp. So I was kind of interrupted briefly, but as I said, I got my 1 point scalp. I moved my runner from one tick above here to one tick below my entry, and it got stopped out. Now, if you watch, it would have lost if I tried to go for a 6 tick profit target. I may have gotten out here because it actually goes down, but it's debatable whether I would have gotten the fill. They wouldn't have ticked through. Going for 2 points, I definitely would have gotten stopped out. This candle would have stopped me out. So what's really interesting here is I actually thought this is a decent setup, and all things considered, even knowing what I know now with the benefit of hindsight, I think this is a trade, that I would have taken again because I think it's one of those trades that were kind of high probability, but on the border that it just happened that it didn't work out. Because if I didn't enter on this one right here, I'm pretty sure I would have entered here. The results would have been the same. I just wouldn't have to sit through the heat because I entered early. This candle easily could have ticked above and stopped me out, but I survived it, pushed down. Knowing what I know now, as I said, I think it's a trade I would have taken again because I think the context and the overall setup does look correct. Now, you could argue that this is potentially already a measured move that's been created, but it's more like 2 legs down. Didn't mean to do that. 2 legs down. The measured move still has room. So I stand kind of like by what I think that this is a trade that is a high probability that was dicey. Works for a 1 point scale, probably not for a 2 point scale. Not probably, would not have worked for a 2 point scale. So to each his own. It worked out for me. I was lucky. I do understand that I was fortunate in this trade and lucky that I was just going for a 1 point scale. We're going to move on. Prices move up, breaks out of this yellow down channel, starts pushing up. It's a little choppy here. You really don't get any second entry setups. Pushes down on this orange down channel, breaks, kind of creates a second entry long here. I don't really like it though because, and I call it an almost trade because it's a first entry long pullback, moves down and below. It kind of makes the same high. If it broke above and engulfed it, then I think it would have been more decisive. The EMA, I'm not too worried about right now because it's not very reliable as a key entry point. Because here it was somewhat reliable. That's what I used it here as another key entry point. But here, prices are moving both above and below it now. So then prices move up. Looks like it's moving up this green up channel. And it pushes back down. No setups again. Pushes up, and it's just getting a little choppy. I don't have this yellow up channel established yet. Right around here, I did see another new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. The thing I didn't like about the second entry long is it's relying on this potential trend line, and it looked like it might have been already 2 legs up with a break of this orange up channel. So then, excuse me, then prices keep moving. Looks like it's moving down. This green down channel is a break and a push up. So now I don't really believe this. I'm going to go ahead and make it transparent, or I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to actually delete it. It didn't really help. It was something I was looking at the time. I'm going to delete it now. Then prices move up, localized low, first entry short. Technically, if a second entry short, but this is an inside bar, I'm not a big fan of that. So I can see it more as a visual first entry short, and that's all you get. Technically, you have a second entry short way up here, but it's above the EMA. Clearly, the bias has turned bullish. So it's a little early to try to take a short. Pushes up, let me normalize. Pushes up on this yellow up channel. I draw and establish this trend line. Now, I was debating because I first have this trend line I start all my channels as a trend line, then I later turn them into channels when there's some kind of confirmation at the high side. And when this shows up, I did think, okay, maybe I'm in a channel, but I'm not the biggest fan that there's a lot of empty area up here. So prices break, starts moving sideways. You have second entry long here. It's a bad signal bar, doesn't bounce off the EMA, a little ambiguous. If you look at this, this is like from 7,006 to about 7,003. It's only like a 3-point range. When you're even going for a 1-point scalp, it feels dicey. So again, it's just chopping, breaks below the EMA, reverses back up, and it kind of comes back down. It kind of disregards this support, which is okay because I didn't really, that's why it's transparent. I didn't really trust this as an actual active channel being played. So it broke through. I don't have that much expectation of it moving back into this channel, the transparent one. So it kind of chops around, breaks the orange down channel, tests and makes a new low. So I'm thinking the down channel might have played out, but I'm watching to see what's going to happen. It looks like it's respecting this support area, but it starts breaking down. That's when I established this trend line and turned it into a channel rather early because I did think maybe it was something tighter here, but this doesn't look quite right when I had this established down there. So I then extended it out to here. And at this point, while I'm playing this channel, I'm looking for reasons to go short because I trust the high side more than I trust the low side. So the high side is safer to use as a key entry point if a setup shows up. But since this price action is a little sketchy, I would need more. I can't trust that this resistance is one of the main drivers for taking a trade. It would just be a nice supplemental extra piece of data that I could use to take a short, but on its own, it's not good enough. Prices move down, break. It just gets noisy. It's a first entry short. Technically, I have a second entry short. Second entry short has failed here. Now, I was thinking in real time, is this going to be a failure? Because it looks like it's moving up this trend line that I had that actually changed into a channel pretty early because I started off like this, and then I actually dragged it to here, and it looked like it's working pretty well. So I actually thought there was a possible trade here. Failed second entry short. The thing that kind of made me hesitate was it could hit a resistance here, and the day hasn't been that. I mean, it looks simple in hindsight, but in real time, things are just kind of trucking along, crawling almost, that I wasn't too sure. So I was waiting. So it's a fail second entry short. If you're more aggressive, you take it. But I was actually looking for a higher low. And by the time prices get up to here, I'm not really trusting any higher lows now. It flushes down really hard. So I'm actually thinking, could there be a bounce here? This could be your higher low, but it just came off of this gigantic red down candle. So I'm a little hesitant. In this case, it would have stopped me out because in this case, I would have entered here. I wouldn't have gotten my 1-point scalp yet. Then this candle probably would have stopped me out here. If this one didn't stop me out and I kept it one tick below here, this one would have stopped me out. And I'd have to have sat through this and taken heat. Price then continue moving down. Break of this orange down channel, tests the low, makes another low, starts pressing down. No real second entries that are clean. Localized low, it's a first entry short, pull back. You technically have a second entry short. It's not a really good signal bar, not really a good setup, nothing here. Looks like it might be in a trading range. It starts moving down what I think is this red down channel, despite this yellow one. This yellow one doesn't exist yet. It shows up later. It's looking like it's moving down this orange one, but it breaks the low. It bounces. At this point, I do establish this red one, but it's not the, I guess, safest or most convincing channel because there's just empty space up here, empty space up here. Acting as a guideline, you could say, okay, clearly prices look like it's moving one leg down, pull back, second leg down. But inside, when you look in closer, it's a little ambiguous. EMA itself is only helpful part of the time. And right now, it's not really helpful. It's a new low here, first entry short. You have a second entry short, it's a bad signal bar. I'm looking for a lower high now. Ideally, the next candle here, spike up, break above this guy, hit the EMA and get rejected and push back down. So that's what I'm hoping for. Looks like it's not going to happen. It just kind of keeps going down. So there's no setup. Pushes down. Now it looks like it's moving down this red down channel. Again, those no clean second entries. The new low, it's a first entry short pullback. Technically, I have a second entry short here. Now, I didn't mark it because it's not a good trade and it's late in the day. Why it's not a good trade is the signal bar isn't the best signal bar. It does tick above this guy and close here. So if you did have an order one tick below here, it never gets filled. And as you're waiting for this to break below, when it closes a doji, I would definitely have, if I was trying to take this trade, the time of day, if it was much earlier, and for whatever reason I thought it was a good trade, if I see this close like this and then never triggers one tick below here, I wouldn't have taken this trade. I would have canceled it. Of course, you don't know it's going to flush down like this and probably give you at least that 1 point scalp. But if you waited for two, as been the story of the day, you would have gotten stopped out. Then prices move up, kind of chops around, and moves into the close. So not really much to speak of today. Kind of the story of the week that, well, it's only been Wednesday, that price action Monday wasn't all that great. Tuesday wasn't all that great. Today not being all that great. A lot of things that look like they had potential, but they never quite set up. So I'm hoping that this is just because traders and trading volume is a little low during this actual full week of trading and things actually pick up. So hopefully that was helpful.